now we can just brush that off and move forward talking about whether or not Michael Penix has played his way into their plans. Now, just for the record, he did not interview with Seattle.
I actually didn't talk to the Seahawks. I don't know if I don't know why that is. Maybe they know me. Hope so. But man, I'm super excited for him. Him and Coach Huff. The things that they were able to do with us at University of Washington. It was special. And to see them get success at the next level. I'm super excited to see it.
The one person without kids feels like the parent of the group. What? Yes. Now, just because you haven't interviewed with a team doesn't mean that team isn't interested. There are 1,000,005 stories that we've heard about with former Seahawks. I mean, Robert Turbin, when Curtis and I were asking him about the combine, said that he didn't think that the Seahawks were that interested. Bobby Wagner was surprised he was drafted by the Seahawks. I don't think that he had talked to them much, if at all, beforehand. Again, I still think it's a long shot that the Seahawks go quarterback, and most especially that they go with Michael Penix, particularly at 16, maybe if they trade back and he's there. But just because he hasn't spoken with them doesn't mean he didn't catch their eye.
No. I mean, come on now. Ryan Grubb is in the building. Do you think that these guys are not having conversations about Michael Penix? And really, there's no urgency or need to have those conversations at the combine with Penix because you got the guy who coached him for 2 years in your building. So you can ask him the questions about his personality, his work ethic, what he can do, and he can answer those for you. Now, they're going to bring them in. I believe at least they'll bring him in. They'll talk to this guy and trying to see what his personality is like because, you can talk about one's personality, but it's more about a feel and a vibe. And I think with this coaching staff, they're big on guys being the right fit. Obviously, you got to have some personality. You got to have the physical to get him done, but they want to see if he can fit. So I understand that. No need to talk to him there, but they will bring this guy in. But everything I heard about Michael Penix and saw from Michael Penix was impressive. This guy looked good. It's almost like, again, the rest of the country is finally being introduced to Michael Penix. Even though he played in the national championship game, you didn't really get to see a lot of what he can do because of that defensive line from Michigan was just all in the backfield, and the O-line didn't have a great day. But when it comes to throwing the football, when it comes to putting it on a line, dropping it over the shoulder, being on time, Michael Penix did exactly what he was supposed to do in Indianapolis. So it's nice to hear that he had the best deep ball out there. The spiral was tight. There's slow motion of him dropping time. But even the look on his face was so calm, like, watch this. I'm about to drop it right in that bucket. I mean, he did what a Heisman candidate is supposed to do. He played the part, looked the part.
We had, lots of people that we've had on over the course of the last month or so and asked about Michael Penix. And when we talk about where he could go in the draft, injury concern is always brought up. And it makes sense. But there was good news from Ian Rappaport.
Michael Penix Jr., the Washington quarterback, another quarterback we are going to see here today, another top potential first-round quarterback. Had a lot of injury questions over the last couple years. 2 ACLs plus a shoulder injury. Medical was so important for him. My understanding is the medical exams came out extremely positive for Penix. No issues going forward. A big-time check mark as he heads into draft.
He played so well that this is what Charles Davis had to say about his combine performance.
This is momentum that's continued from time he played in the college football playoff for a national championship against Michigan, because all the things you've talked about, Peter, are now being illuminated because you're getting the one-on-ones. You're getting it right in front of the NFL people. No longer them just hearing about it from others. They're experiencing it themselves. And you mentioned, when he was throwing the ball, the other quarterbacks, how they were watching him. There was one quarterback who always had to follow him. That was tough. All right, I watched that poor quarterback trying to emulate what Michael Penix was doing. And I know you can't vault yourself up too much over a combine, we say. But guess what, folks? If it's close, he is really in a battle with Bo Nix right now. All right, about who's going to go first on that.
I felt bad for quarterbacks that had to throw after Michael Penix. I mean, I think the rumors of him dropping in the draft might have been overstated because he looks good, he's healthy. Why can't he be a late first rounder? Still projected widely to be a day 2 pick, but I mean, certainly playing his way up.
For guys like Penix, we talked about Marvin Harrison not going to the combine last week, and me personally, I was like, good for him. I mean, he's the 1 or 2 best receiver in the country. He's in a position to leverage. And then I started talking about how combine is obsolete in a while, right? It only benefits certain kind of guys. Michael Penix is the type of guy that it benefits the most because people want to know, how's that knee doing?
Yep.
Can we let's get all this mental stuff out the way so we can help make an informed decision. Guys like Michael Penix are the reason why the combine exists. Guys like him who have injury history and guys who are at the back of the line trying to sneak into the league, hopefully get drafted mid to late when it comes to that process. So, no, I loved it, man. You go out there, you reassure all these owners that the knee is fine, I'm good to go, and then they get to see the ball jump off of your hand live, and then they get to talk to you. So, yes, Martin Harrison, not mad that you didn't show up, not mad that you didn't speak. You do what you got to do. Caleb Williams, you do what you have to do. There are about 5 to 6 guys in each draft who can approach it the way that Marvin Harrison and all these other guys did. And I think, Stacey, we're going to see more and more of that. But for Penix, he knew, I got to show up. I got to be healthy. I have to perform. So, yes, man, I'm happy for Penix because there's probably a team out there that had him lower on their draft board that now have him near the top because he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Might that team be the Seahawks?
It might be the Seahawks. Here's the thing, man. We're looking at the quarterback situation over here. We're listening to what John said last week. He says, look, we're not proud that we went 14 years, only drafted 2 quarterbacks. Geno is our guy until he's not, which people just, oh, my God, what is he talking about? He's saying he's our dude, right, until he's not. To me, it's real simple. Until they decide to go somewhere else, he's the guy. But I think that everyone here knows that there is a transition that needs to be made or that is going to be made. We thought it might be made earlier because we didn't really know what Geno was capable of and how successful he was going to be, his strengths, his weaknesses. Now that we know, I think people can kind of say, all right, you got about 2, maybe 3 years before you really need a guy. Why not go out and get a quarterback right now and, like we said, have him marinate? I can see that going down. But I also think that there's no rush at the same time because you do have Geno. It's all about, does Grubb want that guy now? Does Mike McDonald think that's the direction to go? And does the quarterback evaluator of the decade, John Schneider, think that this is the direction they can go? I can see either. I can see them going quarterback at 16. I can see them waiting. And it's really all because of Geno and what he's done the last couple of years.